from the pedophile network. I'm reading ahead. Hello?
Kevin, I'm reading ahead.
Yeah, you got to turn your radio down.
I did. It's John.
Okay, so what happened?
What with faces of meth?
No, with Stevie Tomatoes. They're saying like you ran or something, and I talked to
Kevin. I don't run from anywhere. You saw me in Atlantic City with Fatty Patty and with Tukey. You really think that
I didn't take it? I never thought it.
First of all, I was there. I got there like 5:30, and I'm waiting. And then I'm like,
okay, wait, John. Sorry, let me cut you off. So you knew they were coming?
Yes, I knew they were coming. And
you just knew you knew from social media, or somebody you had an inside source?
Oh no, they were saying they were all going to be there. They were promoting it. So I went there, as I always do, and I'm hanging out at the bar. I didn't see the guy who like hid behind me and then went behind that guy's head and took a picture. It was my friends who said, "Hey, John, some guy just took a picture and ran away." I'm like, really? And then I'm just hanging out there, and then I'm outside. And then I look inside to see if I see any of these losers. No one's in there. I'm like, I don't want to give DUI. So I already had like a few beers. I'm like, all right, well, it's 7:47 now. You think they know that I'm here? And then I slowly walked out of the bar. I even looked. No one was parked next to me, Kev. Everybody knows what kind of car I have. So nobody parked next to me. I looked down the whole strip mall of cars looking for one of these losers to be in there. Because if I would have saw if I would have saw, I can say dues payer. If I would have saw dues payer, Lady K, or Silent Mike, or any of them, I would have went up to the car and I would have put my fist through the window. So I looked, I couldn't see anybody, and then I left. I called Dirty Deeds when I was driving home, and then I heard that the dues payer was hiding in his car and would not get out of his car until I left. And I also heard the same thing with Lady K. They were hiding on the other side of the building. So again, the proof's in the pudding. I would never run from any fight. And I invited Silent Mike over. I said, look, I'll be home. Come on over. And I would welcome him to come over. But they're not going to come over because they're afraid of me.
And so I didn't really watch their take. I didn't watch any of their shows from down the house. But so what did they say happened?
Well, the dues payer lies, said he was in the parking lot and the owner called him and said, don't come in when John's there. Now, that was a lie that was exploited by the potato because he had an inside source. I believe it was Beloved Chatter. And no, because the potato called Stevie's. They said nobody called him. Nobody even knows his number. So the dues payer's first lie was that he was told that he had to wait. Then when they got to that diddle house, then they decided to make up this elaborate fake story saying that that I ran. Kev, do you think in a million years I would run? Like, I mean, then they lied and said I left out of the back, which is another lie. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would listen. I invite Lady K. He's got a place out here. Anytime you're invited, come by my house, knock on my door. Don't run like Baby Fatso did. Come to my house, knock on my door, and then I'll settle it right there. Because I'm not going to run from anyone. Oh, and the other thing I'll tell you is they had this little guy about 5 feet tall, I guess like 2 inches taller than Chuli. And he comes up to me and he goes, hey, are you Stuttering John? I go, yeah. He goes, can I shake your hand? I go, sure. I go, what brings you here? He goes, oh, I'm a dabbler. And I go, are you gonna what are you gonna do if you see the dues pay? I said I'm gonna beat the living hell out of him. And then And then he starts talking back. I don't want to talk to you. Just like, please get away from me. And then I just waited there. I had one more beer. I waited patiently, and I was like, all right, I'm out of here. Put it this way, Kev. If they wanted any interaction with me, don't you think they would have came in when I was sitting alone by the bar?
Yeah, because Shuley tweeted out the picture of like the end game is now or whatever the fuck he said, the fucking clown coward. He's like, he took, obviously they took a picture. They knew you were there. So if they wanted trouble, all they had to do was walk in.
But
if they wanted to confront you, all they had to do was walk in. They knew you were there. It wasn't like they didn't know you were there. They took a picture of you sitting at the bar. So of course they know you're there. And of course they're fucking cowards.
Kev, that wasn't them who took the picture. That was the guy I told you. His handle's Looney Tunes. He's the guy that came from behind me and then went and hid behind the guy, snapped the picture, and darted away like the coward, just ran away. They didn't. The dues payer lady K were not in there at all.
No, I'm saying, but they knew that you were there.
Yes, they did.
Because of the picture. The guy took the picture, so he knew that they knew that you were already in the bar. So if they wanted to confront you, all they had to do was walk in. They had you outnumbered.
Yes, but look, the 13 of them, including Joe's wife Lurch, they could have. Like, I mean, look, I'm only one guy, but the 13 of them are still afraid of me.
Yeah, it's so sad. So you must, if you go there regularly, you must know the owner. Did the owner have any take on what happened? Or the manager?
No, and that's the whole point. The owner wasn't even there. So the dues payer story is already flawed. The owner didn't come in that day. It was only the bartender. You know, her name's Nikki, and nobody knew anybody's phone numbers. Those guys are trying to lie and grift, but Kev, that's all they do is lie and grift.
Yeah, so was their intent? I mean, were they saying they were going to Stevie Tomatoes with the intent to confront you, like man to man, or they were going to go there to basically, John thinks this is his bar, and we're going to go in there and fucking show him who the boss is. So was that their plan? Why were they going there in the first place?
You know what? Because I mean, yeah, they act as if they're going to Disney. I mean, who the hell cares where I go to? It's so.
No, but were they going there to kind of go on your turf and knowing that you would be there?
Yeah, well, that's what they sold to their audience. Oh, let's go harass Stuttering John. But guess what? Not one of them would go in there. So that just tells you who they are. And that's why the dues payer backed down to the bagel boss. And that's why I fought Crazy Cabby in the ring. There's a very big difference between, like, I don't, look, I grew up as a stutterer. I don't back down from fights. So they could have, because I've been fighting all my life. They could have easily, I was there till 7:47, Kev. They could have easily got there at 7 and easily confronted me. Now, granted, I would have taken care of business. But they know that they're cowards. They're afraid. You think Lady K and his clubfoot is going to try and fight me? Come on. Do you think Deuce Payer, who's a certifiable dwarf, is gonna confront me? Come on. Give me a break. You think freaking a bowling pin Mike is going to confront me? These guys are cowards. I tell you, eat it.
Imagine if you beat up producer Joe in front of that fucking wife of his. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to catch whatever she has. I mean, that thing. You're right. That's coyote. That's double coyote ugly.
I just couldn't. When I saw the picture, I was like, "Wow, Mike Morris really was fishing on the bottom of the barrel." I mean, listen. When you get divorced, I mean, I talked to Florentine when I got separated like 10 years ago, and Florentine's like, he goes, you don't want to be out in that dating pool. It's not good. And that's Florentine. And I was like a working comic, reasonably handsome. So I just thought, Mike Morris, who's a nothing, I'm like, that's maybe the best he can get. And then to find out that's someone's wife, it's one thing for that to be your girlfriend, because you can just break up with her.
Kev, I've been tweeting pictures of her for a while. I got tons of, I can send you I've been goofing on her for because you should see her body. I mean, she's awful. I mean, she looks like she's the sister of the banjo player in Deliverance.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really ugly, and that's why it's funny. I mean, and your wife is beautiful. I'll always say that. So
Uh,
your wife and Kiki are definitely a 10, and she's like a -5.
so that's definitely producer Joe's wife.
That's a fact, Jack.
Wow. Wow.
But anyway, listen. I don't want any money, but you mind if I could just do a plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be at Silicon in Parsippany, New Jersey, April 25th and 27th, and then I'm headlining Stress Factory on May 3rd.
Yeah, in the tent, right?
Yeah, because it's like a one night. It's like it's definitely like a last minute gig because I had that convention. So I was like,
Well, I heard you're doing well. Somebody said they saw you or Ray said the guy who owns the place in Ohio that you were just at. They said they were happy with the weekend.
Yeah, it was packed, and I sold out on Saturday night, and yeah, I'm just back to doing stand up. I stopped the podcasting. I'll just do stand up. I don't really need to make a lot of money, but because of the pensions. But I don't, as long as I can do something that is creative, I'm sure you understand that. And,
What time's the show on May 3rd?
The 8th, and Brand's gonna, he's gonna feature for me.
Who?
So it'll be fun. Vinny Brand. I stutter on B's.
Oh, Vinny Brand. Yeah, maybe I'll swing by because that's close to my house.
Yeah, and don't worry. Well, I'll buy you a few beers. There's going to be I don't have there's only 4 people that I want that I have no problem if I see. I don't care if obviously in a boxing ring, YouTube's terms of service, but Dues Payer and Lady K, they never want to run into me, and your buddy Baby Fasto never wants to run into me in Silent Mike. Any of those guys, if I ever see in person, they're gonna wish they never saw me.
Yeah, I think Shuley knows that, because Shuley, I think he thinks that, they're just having fun with you. But I think he knows that if you saw him, that you would just beat the fuck out of him and you would deal with the rest later. You would deal with the arrest and getting Pat Dixon and all that shit. And again, Pat Dixon beat the shit out of Gino and basically it got reduced to like a fucking misdemeanor. So and in Florida, I'm sure in Florida you could just beat the fuck out. I mean, Casey Anthony killed her daughter and they were cool with that. So I'm sure you can beat the fuck out of like a midget like Shuley and you're not going to pay much of a penalty.
Especially after all the video and all the clips I have them cyberbullying and harassing me and my family. So, trust me, I don't worry about being arrested. I've never been arrested. But even if I got arrested, Kev, it would be worth it to put my fist through any of those guys' faces. It would be worth it for me.
And that's probably why they hid because they knew that you would probably at least fuck with their car, like smashing their window or their windshield.
Kev, it's very simple. I would not say one word. I'd go up to them, grab them by the lapel or the t-shirt, and I would pummel their heads. So, I mean, they will not even look like themselves anymore. They'll start looking like Joe's wife. But yeah, I'll definitely see you in Jersey or in Manhattan. Bring your wife for the eye candy, will you?
Yeah. Okay. What's the date of the end of April? What is there? Where is that?
Oh no, the show comes in Parsippany, the April 25th to 27th, and then the Stress Factory's on May 3rd.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you.
God bless. See, I get along with everybody.